All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to our webinar today. This is Aanval SAS Tips and Tricks Part 2. My name is Eric Smith. I'm here in the support department at Tactical Flex. And today, for the next about 30 minutes, we'll be discussing the latest version of Aanval, some of its package offerings, and especially some of its latest features, because we have recently rolled out a new version, version 7.5, with some pretty amazing tools, and we'll show you exactly how to use those and get the most out of them. But first off, I just wanted to cover a couple other things, including a few things you may not know about Aanval. First of all, it was deployed in 2003, and so going into our 11th year, this is a tool that has been in continual not only deployment, but updates, configuration. We are always working to make this tool the best available. And also in that time, over 6,000 customers in over 100 countries have come to Aanval and are using that currently as part of their security solution. It's in fact the longest running Snort front end. But not only for Snort, also in that time, a lot of Suricata users have picked this up and started using it. And it's also a great tool for importing and managing Syslog data as well from hundreds of different vendors. Now, one of the great things about Aanval, about which we are very proud, is that it is a tool that has been largely built by our user community. We take user feedback and suggestions very seriously here. And so when we have a customer that says they have a need or they have a certain feature request or something just basic that might make Aanval that much cooler, we take it very seriously, and our developers are in a position to quickly get these features turned around, updated, and implemented for that whole community. And so when we talk about Aanval, it is something that is able to scale to meet the needs of its environment, especially on an automated basis. Again, between these 6,000 customers we have some that are in a single office using a single sensor, and we have those on a global enterprise scale using it as well. And so Aanval is that great tool that again can scale to meet the needs, traffic needs of the environment and of the user. And so it does it both on a technological base, being able to again meet those traffic needs, because it really does have the power to import and do all number of tools and import all number of events. But not only that, we've designed our packages to meet those needs as well. In the past, and even currently with other vendors as well, you'll be buying a console based on the number of sensors you might have, or the number of sensors you might plan to have. And that is going to affect your cost. But what we've done with Aanval, as opposed to sending you a number of licenses based on those sensors you may or may not have, and even possibly in the future having to renegotiate plans and contracts to add additional sensors, what we do here is send you one license, and it's essentially just an unlimited sensor capacity license. So when you first start with using Snort and Aanval, and you have even just one or two Snort sensors, that's fine. And you can continue to use that. You can easily deploy additional sensors, whether they be additional Snort, Suricata, Syslog sensors, it doesn't matter. And also within that same package, we provide support to Aanval on many levels as well, through a ticket-based email system, over the phone, and even by remote. And all these services are available to our commercial customers. And then additionally, you receive console maintenance. We've mentioned that we've been in service here since 2003. We're continually working to make this thing better. And rather than having to pay another larger sum to get the next version and the latest tools, that is included in your Aanval SAS package as well. Now, looking at some of the benefits of using Aanval. Some of these major tools, and some of them we'll be discussing today. One is going to be situational awareness. This is the idea that you are aware of your environment. You have an up-to-date view of the network, who's on it, what's happening, essentially just to give you a better idea as to what you might need to update or change to keep your network secure. Aanval operates in a very much real-time environment. It is importing events in a real-time rate. Not only that, it is correlating them, which is a major tool and function that, again, a lot of other vendors don't offer. They will provide correlation in a post-mortem fashion, whereas Aanval, again, we're doing it in real time. We're taking the most recent events, and from all of your different traffic sources, we're telling you exactly how they might be fitting and correlating with other devices, other events, and letting you know what's happening. And so we have multiple views to let you understand what's happening in real time. And you also have access to that information in real time to manage it, to find out exactly what's happening and provide reports as well. Aanval is a tool that meets compliance purposes for many different needs of our users, because we have those that are dialed into Aanval all day. They're looking at events, creating reports, and we also have those folks that just might need this for a simple compliance purpose, and we're there as well. When it comes to our packages, again, they are extremely competitively priced, and we offer a lot within these packages themselves. In fact, again, during our 11-year business train here, our product has only gotten better, and our offerings have only gotten better, and in fact, a lot cheaper as well. We've been able to package a lot more into these offerings. And Aanval itself is a package that's very easy to deploy and configure. It's just one small package. You install it at the root of your web server. It takes just a few moments from you to tell it exactly where your Snort database is, and then from there, a couple other things to set up and use, and a lot of those we'll be covering today. And so to close our show here, we'll get into our instance of Aanval here. Get logged in. And also just want to let you know what we're viewing here is just a test environment. We have a couple of sensors connected, and it's all here on the internal network, so we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of, I guess, exciting events or a whole lot of events in total anyway. But nonetheless, all the features I'm showing you are active, they're ready to go, and this is how it would look and operate in your network. And so first of all, when we're looking at our available sensors here, we're looking at the Aanval Console. It is also acting as a sensor. As we see here, this is logging just basic console events. This will let you know when someone successfully logs in or fails to log into the console. We have a basic Snort sensor, and then also just a basic Syslog feed. Now, a lot of you might already be using Aanval. You may have been testing it. And where this is called Aanval SAS Tips and Tricks Part 2, we're not going to be covering a lot of the basics that we covered in some of our previous webinars and those meetings to show you, I guess, just the basic rollout of the console itself. We're going to be looking at some, again, as I mentioned earlier, some of our more advanced and latest features to show you exactly what they are and how to get the most out of them. Now, the first feature I want to discuss is signature management. If you look up here, we received a new user message letting us know that signature importing is complete. This is one of the great features about Aanval, is this option to manage not only the signatures, but the sensor itself, all within this one interface. As opposed to, again, other vendors that might require additional tools, or especially third-party tools, other things that may not be working in concert with each other. That's a great thing about Aanval. We have everything right here. And the way we're doing that is what we call our SMTs, or sensor management tools. These allow you to manage the signatures themselves, to enable and disable signatures, and as we're seeing right here, Aanval will automatically grab any updated signatures, new signatures from your specific signature source. Generally, folks are getting them directly from Snort VRT or emerging threats, and every 24 hours, Aanval will contact that source and pull down the latest signatures. Not only that, you can even receive an updated email letting you know exactly when that happened, and it'll let you know in detail if there were new signatures and what they were, if there were any updated signatures and what happened there. So it's a very detailed signature processing report that you receive on a daily basis. And also at that time, when those signatures are downloaded, not only are they just simply fetched by the console, any of those updates and changes are automatically pushed to your sensors. Those sensors are then restarted and then up and running with the latest signatures. And that's all done on an automated basis. But this feature that I want to discuss right now is the option for what we're calling an auto policy update. Now, we've always provided a great tool to let you again manage these sensors, but it's one that we've, I guess, slowed down the time, or I guess increased what you can do. And so first of all, let me just come here to signature management and show you what I'm saying here. So this is the area where you would come to view what signatures you have enabled. At this point, for example, if I want to click on our browser Chrome rules, I can view exactly what's enabled, and it's showing me here that I have 12 out of 14 signatures enabled. I can come here and disable what signatures I want, disable all of them, enable all of them just for fun. And it's showing us that this particular sensor is operating on our primary snort policy. We can create multiple policies for multiple sensors or environments or sites. And once I make my changes here, all I would do is click Update Policy. Now in previous builds of Aanval, at this point what we would then need to do is to manage each sensor individually. We would then, using our sensor management menu, would go to each individual sensor, and I would send each sensor 3 individual messages to send the updated signatures, send the updated configuration file, and then restart that sensor. But what we're doing here, first to get this thing set up, well, let's come back here to sensor management. Now this is a little updated view from some of our, again, previous versions of Aanval here. This little green light is letting us know that the sensor is currently online, that Aanval is currently pinging it and in communication with it. And we still have an option here. We can click this box and we can still send it individual messages if we need. But coming here to our Manage button, to get this auto policy update in effect, what we need to do is first make sure that it's on the right policy you want. Check this box and then click Update. Pretty simple there. So now when we're at signature management, and after we've made whatever changes we want, we've updated our policy, and you'll want to make sure you click Update Policy after you make changes to any particular rule category. But then once we're done, even though on this particular environment we have just one sensor active, we could have 100 snort sensors active. We could even have them operating on different policies. But after we update whatever policies we want, we simply click Update Sensors. And again, let's say we have those 100 sensors connected. All the changes we've made are then pushed to those sensors at once, saving you tons of time and allowing you to get those changes out there much, much faster. And so this is how it's done on an automated scale, on a manual scale, but then thereafter, again, as we're seeing up here, the automated functions then kick in to keep whatever signatures you've enabled, keep them up to date, and then alert you of actually what's been happening. Now, another tip here, before you make any of these manual changes, and especially before you set up any of the automated functions to grab signatures and push those to your sensors, what you're definitely going to want to do first, this is the first thing you do after you actually get the SMTs configured and turned on. You're going to want to come to this sensor or however many sensors you have. Again, we can just go through and click all 100 of them if you like. You're going to want to send a couple messages just to make sure that everything is in sync. So you're going to first want to send a message to get the snort configuration, and then also send another one to get the snort rules. That way Aanval is aware of what's actually on that sensor, how it's operating, because that way, when it actually grabs these signatures, or you make changes and then they're pushed back to the sensor, you don't want them to be, I guess, out of sync with what's on your sensor itself. Grabbing the snort configuration is especially critical because that's what we're actually going to see right here. If you don't grab that snort configuration, this is going to be blank, and Aanval is going to send back essentially a blank copy of a configuration file and wipe out your sensor. So before you make any management functions here, you definitely need to first tell Aanval what the sensor already has. So you're going to want to do that for each individual sensor. And so using this signature management interface, this is a way you can, again, easily enable and disable signatures. But there's also another way to, another option you can use to suppress signatures. And that is right here in the options menu under action management. Now this is a function that you can use to do a number of things. And this is essentially where you just come to create automated actions to, well, let me go in here and I'll show you one exactly. The green light here letting us know that it's currently on, the name of it, a description. So for example, this one's just letting us know that it's sending me an email every time someone logs into the console. It's fired 152 times, and this is when I created it. So just to give you an idea as to what it can do here, I'll go into the edit menu and show you exactly, again, what it can do. So when we're looking at criteria to match, I just have one item here, this specific signature ID, and this is an Aanval Console event ID. And what's great here is that I can actually stack different criteria on here. So I can say, well, if this particular event ID is fired and it comes from a particular source IP, or if there's a particular risk level involved, and I can keep stacking these on top of each other. And under matching itself, I can tell it to match, well, match any or match all of the criteria that I stack here. Under actions to be performed, this is where I told it to send an automated email, or this is where I can tell it to, again, execute a shell command, delete an event, or tag an event. Now, deleting an event, this is another helpful tool that a lot of folks use to suppress signatures. Okay. Now, again, after making any type of changes here to any of these sections, just make sure you click Update to commit those changes. And I'll show you here, that's actually the second event that I created. Now, it's just a basic syslog feed, so there aren't really signatures to manage. So I can't easily suppress any of those events that might come in. But we can see that this is obviously working. It's working well. It's fired over 15,000 times. And again, here we are looking at the criteria to match. I just told it to look for a particular text or a string in any of these syslog events as they come in. And so it finds these, and it's just been deleting them. Now, one great thing about the action management system is that each action itself runs independently of the next. And so it doesn't have to fire in a priority setting. They're all just ready to go. So, I mean, I've received that question before, how do you change the priority itself? Because some folks have been worried that, if they have 20 actions here, they might have to wait for, 19 actions to go before number 20 can fire. But not in this case. So that's just another great way another great tool you can use to suppress events. Now, some of the other great features that we've updated in Aanval here are going to be reporting features. You have an option to easily create reports, and they're very detailed reports. For example, I'll just show you one here. We can view it here in a PDF format. And this is one is showing us that all of the risk 3 events on sensor 2 on this date. Now, we have viewed a lot of different reports from a lot of different vendors. And a lot of them can be pretty lengthy. I mean, even upwards of 200 and 300 pages. And for a lot of those, the information itself isn't very useful to us. And a lot of it is difficult to understand. But looking at this particular report, we're seeing that it's only 13 pages long, and the information provided is fairly easy to understand, and it's all applicable. So these are very helpful and detailed reports. And some of the enhancements that we've made, in addition to being able to actually view and create them in a PDF format, you can easily email them. And the way this is going to do that, it'll email it to the user that's currently logged in. So since I'm logged in and my email address is tied to this, as soon as I click this, it would then email me that report. But not only that, if we're looking at this top report right here, we see a little calendar icon letting you know that this is a scheduled report. And so when you're creating a new report, all from this management view here, we can easily select what sensors we want reported. We can select and input any type of information right here. So we could say, well, show me any risk level 1, anything that says malware in it. And we'll opt to generate a report every 700 hours on Friday and email this to myself and my boss. And then when we perform that search, this is a report that will be generated every 700 hours on Friday, and it'll automatically email that report. Now that's one way to create a report, and that's the way to create a scheduled report. But we also have a great advanced search menu here. For example, we can look at everything from today, from sensor 2, and that's our snort sensor. Oh, sensor 2, there we go. And we'll just perform a search. All right. So again, I mentioned this is a test environment, so it's not too exciting, but still it's showing us how many results we have. And from this point, not only can we actually view everything that's been happening, everything on those results, but we can then create a report from those results. It's currently queued and ready for viewing. Now, for those that are new to Aanval or new to the advanced search menu, click here on the Help button, and this will take you right to our support wiki site, and will show you all the queries that you can use and how to use them. And again, as I mentioned, you can stack these on top of each other as well. So this is another great updated resource for you. Now, some of the last features I wanted to discuss and how to use them are going to be our false positive validation tool and situational awareness tool. Now, as I mentioned earlier, situational awareness, this is again the idea that you are aware of what's on your network, how it's operating with your network, so you can be aware as to what changes, again, you might need to make. And so if we come right up here to situational awareness, this will give us just a basic bird's eye view of the network. As we can see that we have a couple of devices connected here. We have an ASA, we have a Mac Mini. This is operating as our basic appliance in the environment. And then we're looking at these device events as a source. What kind of events are these devices generating? The ASA itself isn't generating any events, and when we're looking at the appliance itself, we're not seeing any risk 1 or risk 2 events. We're seeing some risk 3, and that's just fine. And when we're seeing these devices as a destination, these are everybody again on your network who might be trying to attack these devices. Again, we can see not any risk 1 or risk 2 events. That's just great. We're seeing some risk 3 events, particularly here on the Mac Mini. Not of a great concern. And I know what kind of traffic this is. It was just the basic ICMP traffic we saw. So this isn't of a great concern to us. So that way we can, at this point, we are aware of what's happening on the network. But again, in your environments, you might have a lot more devices connected, and you're definitely going to have a richer view of events and what's actually happening. Now, in order for these features to work, Aanval is going to need to be aware, again, of what devices are on your network and how they operate with the network. And so to do this, we're going to need to come here to Console Configuration and Device Management. Now, this is where you can manually add and update those devices that are on the network. As we're viewing here, this is our Mac Mini. This is one that I, again, just manually added. I added some basic information about it, some of its available services, interfaces, and just the basic name and what kind of device it is. Okay, so I understand that on your networks, you're going to have a lot more than just a couple of devices connected, and that's all right because we have accounted for that as well. In some of these recent builds of Anvil, we've included Nmap integration to scan your networks and to look for hosts that might be connected. And that's actually how this particular device, the ASA, was found and connected. We see the little green light here. This is letting us know that it's currently in its up state because this was one that was found in an automated routine scan. It's listed here as a discovered host. This is when it was found. And in an automated fashion, Anvil automatically scanned the network. It found this device. It found its basic operating system fingerprint, found its IP address, and imported it into device management. And so in order to use a tool like this, first of all, you're going to need Nmap installed on the box. And then once you have Nmap installed, you'll come here to the Preferences menu. And under Network Scanning, you'll just need to detail exactly where Nmap is located. After you do that, click Update. Very simple there. And then we'll come to Network Management. This is where you create a basic network, give it a name, description if you like, and essentially just the IP range. Check the box for network host scanning and click Update. And then every 24 hours, and in the Preferences menu, you can detail if you want to do it any sooner than that, Anvil will automatically scan the network for new hosts. You will then be alerted, just like we had that console event letting us know, and I'll just show you that too, letting us know that we were successfully logged into the console right here. We'll just filter this by our Aanval Console. So all right, here we go. We've had some successful logins. All right, and here are the results of a network scan, letting us know that it didn't find any new hosts when it scanned this particular network. But on your networks, when you enter that IP range, again, you could have 1,000 different devices, and it will find those devices, and just with the ASA, it'll automatically scan it and import it to device management. So very, very quickly, you can get a good mix of what devices are on the network and how they're operating with it. You can then go back and add additional details if you like, but already and very quickly with Nmap and these tools, you can get a quick view of what's happening on the network. Now that's for use with situational awareness, but the same understanding of what devices are on the network plays into our false positive event validation tool, which you'll see right here. All right, so we're seeing a gray circle with a check here letting us know that this actually failed validation. The gray circle at least let us know that it went through a device that's known to the network, but it's not completely familiar with everything about that device. It's not familiar with exactly how it operates on the network. So this is where you might need to add some of those additional services or information about that device. And then once it is aware, again, of how it operates with that network, you'll then be getting a green circle with a check letting you know that it went through a known device, it knows how it talks to the network, and it passed validation. In some cases, you might just see it completely blank like this, and that's just because this is a sensor that isn't actually available for this type of service. This is really just coming through our snort services here. Or you just might see a dash, and that's just essentially letting you know that it's just a basic event that came through the network. It's not aware of any devices through which it came. All right here. And so that's actually kind of coming to a close on some of our latest features. Again, as we were looking at signature management with the option of an auto policy update to quickly and easily manage those global sensors on your network, and how to easily suppress some of those signatures, both by way of snort and the signature management tools, and also even on your Syslog feeds, and using our action management system to suppress some of those signatures. We looked at reporting, ways you can easily create reports, both from the My Reports menu and even using our advanced search menu and creating reports from those results. And then we also looked at, again, our situational awareness tool and false positive event validation tools. Some very helpful tools for your network. And we have many more things available, and very pleased to say we have many more things happening in the background with our developers right now. So again, this is a great time to get Aanval to integrate it with your network, because again, with these SAS packages, you'll always be up to date with maintenance. You'll be able to monitor all of your sensors, and you'll be fully supported by us on your Aanval console. Well, we want to thank you for coming to our webinar today. We'd love to speak with you. If you have any questions, definitely contact us. We're here to help you. We want to be a part of your security solution. And again, thank you for your time today, and we'll talk to you soon.